There, I wanted to visit with you a bit today about the well-tempered work. You may or may not have noticed I've taken down the well-tempered lessons. That's because I just wasn't happy with how they were coming together, and I thought about better ways to do it. So we're starting over again. And those lessons are available if you wanted to revisit them on my free instruction page. They're there. I just don't want them out as public posts right now because I thought a better way of doing it. And one thing we're going to do is, well, we're going to have 2 tracks, and I've promised some of you that I would create lessons about how to use the book independently. Today is mostly about that, just an overview of what it looks like when you use the book independently, and then I'll provide some lessons that'll help you through, guide you through that process until you actually are independent. And that's going to work for some of you. If it doesn't work, I want you to know that I have a whole new approach. I'll tell you more about it when I record those lessons. But because this book was designed for all musicians who play treble clef instruments, there are some important things we get to do with guitar that make it possible for absolute beginners to do these very valuable exercises. Not all other instruments can do that. It takes quite a while before most musicians are able to play all of these exercises in all of the keys. But because we play a fretted instrument, it's relatively easy compared to playing those other instruments, and we really need to take advantage of that. So anyway, a whole new approach. I was trying to follow the book too closely for the other lessons, and I think a quite different approach is going to work better for absolute beginners and beyond beginner. This lesson and this series is for intermediate to advanced. Okay, it's going to assume some prior knowledge. And if these lessons don't work for you, know that I'm creating the other ones. Also know that if you're able to do the exercises, then you're golden. You don't have to understand it, okay? But in order to use the book independently, you're gonna want to understand it. One of the important things is to understand the basic music theory. In the description, I'm going to include a link to the theory lessons so that you're very familiar with the shape of a major chord. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Really all you need to know is that between the first scale degree, that all of the notes of the scale are a whole step apart except for 3rd to 4th and 7th to 8th. You need to know the pattern, where the circle of fourths is on your guitar. Let's start right here with G. You don't need to understand how we got this, or why the notes are what they are. Someday you want to, but to use the book, you don't have to understand that. You just need to know that this is the circle of fourths. But when you get playing it on the guitar, when you get down in these flat notes and stuff, you don't need to know the names of the notes that you're playing. You need to know the scale degree. That's the important thing. Am I playing the 5th scale degree or the 3rd scale degree? That's where the magic is. Even after you know the names of all the notes, the magic is knowing where the 3rd scale degree is and the 5th scale degree and so on. And that's what the well-tempered work will give you. Here's a G. And okay, G, C, F. I'm going to play a G and a C and an F. That's one of the best things about this book. It shows you to go up a 4th, and there will be many times and reasons you want to go up a 4th. It's all right there. G, C, F. And then up a 4th is B flat. And when you get to the 2nd string, you have to go 1 fret higher because it's tuned differently there. And I just went up a fourth. It doesn't matter if you know that it's E flat or not. Up a fourth. Okay. And this note, whether you know the name of the note or not, you know that this is the same note. So when you come down here, then you can go through the circle of fourths again. Whoops. I'm looking at the camera, not my hand sometimes. Okay. There are other ways to play the circle of fourths, but let's stick with that one for now. And once you do the exercises for a while, your hearing will develop to where you can just poke around and you can tell by the way it sounds where a fourth is. And you don't necessarily have to go up a fourth, but let's not go there yet, okay? I just want you to know that what I'm showing you is not the only way to do it. It's good if you're able to find other ways. So let's talk about the main reason you don't have to read notes to use this book. Every exercise has the scale degrees right here, 1, 2, 1. This would sound like 1, 2, 1, and it tells you here up, okay? This one, let's see, right here. I'm looking at the camera and it's hard to see. 1, 7, 1. That is down, and that's kind of a long story. Why it says up, and most of them are up, but that one's down. But there's a reason for that, which we'll discuss some other time. Let's see. Let's go to one that sounds more like a song. Okay. So this one starts to sound more like a song. 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1. I'll make sure I did that right. Yeah. So it's first scale degree, third scale degree, second scale degree, first scale degree. Yeah, it's hard to see. 4, fourth scale degree, third scale degree, first scale degree. So after doing, let's do 1, 2, 1. And then he has you do 1, 7, 1. Don't worry if that's confusing. Then you're going to learn 1, 3, 1. And you're going to learn this 1, 3, 1. And then if this is 3, 4 is a half step higher. So if you know that's 3, then you know that's 4. You don't have to know the name of the note. So the whole exercise, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1, sounds like this. 1, 3, let me get where you can see better. Okay, and this is going to be closed. It's a shape that's movable. 1, 3, oops, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1. Now, remember, this is not intended to be, really not intended at this point to be a lesson that you do what I just showed you, but to understand how you can come to use the book independently, even if you can't read music, okay? So what I just did, let's say I don't know how to read music, and here's my scale degrees, and it says 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1. If I already did the first exercise, which is 1, 2, 1, or let's use these fingers to make it easy. 1, 2, 1, well, I know that that's where my 2 is. And if I did 1, 3, 1, it requires knowing either, this scale will be included as we get a little farther along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you know where your scale degrees are, okay? 1, 2, 1, and you've exercise 4 is 1, 3, 1. Something that you want to have deeply ingrained is between 3 and 4 is always a half step. Okay, so it's kind of like once you get the third memorized, you're kind of home free to know that that's where the fourth is. 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1. Okay. That's why we don't want to be reading the notes, because once you learn this pattern, then to go up a fourth, all you do is start here and do the same thing. Okay? And if you're going to do it on the 3rd and 2nd fret, then it's going to feel a little bit different. Okay? And that's one reason these exercises are great, because it gets you familiar with those relationships and how they work together. Let's see. So we talked about scale degree. Okay, here's the thing about the notes. If there's ever confusion about, am I playing, there's a good example right here. If there's ever confusion, like say I'm starting on C. And it's like, well, am I playing the 2nd scale degree that's lower, or am I playing the 2nd scale degree that's higher? Because remember, these scales go in both, there's lower notes than that one, and there's higher notes than that one. So if it says, 1, 2, 1, how do I know I'm going up and not down? That's where the music comes in handy, because you'll see that this 2nd note is higher than the 1st note. So it's 1, 2, 1. I'm going up to the 2nd scale degree and back to the 1st. And you don't have to know the names of those notes. Just that way's up and that way's down. Okay. This one, you would know it says 1, 7, 1. Am I going up to the 7th scale degree or down? And you can see it right here. It goes down. And usually it's not confusing, but if it's ever confusing, you can look at the notes and you can see, wherever you start, it goes down and then back to the same note and then up and then back to the same note. So I just would only use the music. If you do read music, or even if you don't, you can use the written music for clarification of, which one is it? Is it the one that's higher than where I started, or is it the one that's lower than where I started? But for the most part, the first several, well, actually for the rest of this beginning part, I think this is the only one that goes down. And there's a reason for that. All the rest of them in that first section go through page 8. You're going to start on a note and you're going to go up to that scale degree, whichever, let me double check this one. Yeah, up to the scale degree and then back down. And then it'll give you something like 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1, something a little more melodic. It gets really fun later on when you get into melodies. And really what we're going for in the long run is you get used to the sound of it. And then by the sound of it if you made a mistake or not. That can take time, but it will develop. But once you can tell if the sound sounds right or not, it's really fun to play melodies and find those melodies in all the different places. Let's see. Okay. On page, I want to finish up real quick here. On page 9, it says intervals down. Tell you what, I'll come back. I'll come back right away and tell you about intervals down. See you in a minute. Remember to like and subscribe. Thanks.